Welcome to Curious Minds Unmasked podcast, where we uncover the hidden wonders of the world.
Imagine AI that can design, well, not just images, but entire interactive worlds.
Yeah, really incredible.
That's the ambitious goal of spatial intelligence.
Ambitious for sure.
And it's closer than we might think.
It really is. And we're talking about AI that understands the world in 3D.
Okay, so how objects relate to each other.
Exactly.
How they move, how we interact with them.
It's like the difference between looking at a photograph and actually stepping inside of it.
I like that, yeah.
And that's what we're unpacking today.
Okay.
We've got this fascinating conversation between AI pioneers Fei-Fei Li and Justin Johnson, along with investor Martin Casado.
They always bring an interesting perspective.
They do. They paint a fascinating picture of where this technology is headed.
And you know, Fei-Fei Li's journey is a big part of this story, right?
Absolutely.
She was instrumental in the success of ImageNet.
Right.
Which really revolutionized computer vision.
Yeah.
And now she's applying those lessons to something even more complex, spatial intelligence.
What I find so fascinating is how Lake emphasizes the sheer volume of data needed for spatial intelligence to really,
To really take off?
Yeah, exactly. She says it makes ImageNet look tiny in comparison.
That makes sense though, right? If you're teaching an AI to understand the entire world in 3D, you're going to need a lot of data.
You really do.
But Lace seems confident we're on the cusp of a data revolution that will make that possible.
Absolutely. And think about it, all the smartphones, cameras,
Oh, yeah.
sensors constantly capturing our world in 3 dimensions. It's a goldmine.
Yeah, it really is.
Just waiting to be unlocked.
So how does this connect to generative AI, which is something we're hearing a lot about these days?
Well, Lai and Josephson point out that research in 3D reconstruction is now converging with the latest advances in generative AI.
Okay.
And that's opening up some really exciting possibilities.
So instead of just generating a 2D image of, let's say, a cat, we could soon be generating a 3D model that you can actually interact with in a virtual space.
Think of it like this. It's like moving from describing a cake to actually baking one.
Right.
With all the complexity and nuance that entails.
I'm not sure I trust myself with that level of baking.
Right.
But seriously, the potential applications here are mind-blowing.
They are.
We're talking about AI designing entire 3D worlds for gaming, education, even things like virtual tourism, even fields we haven't even imagined yet.
And what makes this all possible now is the exponential growth in computing power.
That makes sense, right?
As Justin Johnson highlights.
Because what was considered impossible for AI just a few years ago is now becoming routine.
It's like having a supercomputer in your pocket.
Our smartphones are more powerful than ever.
Exactly. And that raw power, combined with the explosion of data, is what's fueling the rapid progress in spatial intelligence.
But, okay, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Why is spatial intelligence so much more challenging than, say, language processing?
Oh.
We already have large language models that can write poems and compose music.
Sure. And it really comes down to this. Language, even in its most sophisticated forms, is fundamentally one-dimensional.
Okay.
It's a linear sequence of words. Spatial intelligence requires a different kind of understanding, one that inherently grasps three-dimensional space and how objects interact within it.
It's like the difference between
Go on.
reading about a forest and actually walking through it, right?
Yeah.
You might be able to describe the trees, but you won't truly understand the experience until you're immersed in that environment.
Precisely. And Fei-Fei Li emphasizes this distinction between simply generating images and creating true spatial understanding. Spatial intelligence is about interacting with and manipulating the world in 3 dimensions, which opens up a whole new universe of possibilities.
So we've talked about what spatial intelligence is and why it's such a big deal, but what really gets me excited is how this will actually change our lives.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it's not just about incremental improvements. It's about fundamentally changing how we interact with technology and the world around us.
Exactly.
Give me some examples.
Okay, sure.
We've already touched on gaming and AR.
Yeah.
But where else could this lead?
Well, Justin Johnson, he brings up a really interesting point.
Okay.
He talks about how spatial intelligence could simplify our relationship with technology.
Okay.
Think about all the screens we're surrounded by.
Oh, I know.
Phones, tablets, TVs.
Yeah.
What if we could merge those digital experiences with our physical surroundings?
Okay, so instead of staring at this tiny screen, I could have my emails projected onto my kitchen counter while I'm making coffee.
Exactly. Or imagine this, collaborating on a 3D design project with colleagues across the world, and you're interacting with the model as if you were all in the same room.
It's like stepping into those holographic meetings from sci-fi movies.
Right.
Only this time, it's real.
Exactly. And it's not just about convenience.
Okay.
Fei-Fei Li, she highlights the potential of spatial intelligence to revolutionize healthcare.
Oh, wow.
Imagine surgeons using AR overlays to see inside a patient's body with incredible precision.
Wow, talk about high stakes.
During surgery.
That level of accuracy could make a huge difference.
It's huge, absolutely. And think about fields like architecture and engineering.
Yeah.
Spatial intelligence could allow us to design and experience buildings in VR before a single brick is laid.
Wow.
Or collaborate on complex engineering projects remotely, like manipulating 3D models in real time.
This is starting to feel like we're giving everyone superpowers.
It really is.
We're talking about tackling some of the world's biggest challenges.
Yeah.
In new and innovative ways.
Exactly. But, and this is important,
Okay.
as Lean points out, building this future responsibly, it requires more than just brilliant engineers and groundbreaking algorithms.
So she's talking about the ethical considerations of such a powerful technology.
Precisely. And she's adamant that World Labs takes a multidisciplinary approach,
Okay.
bringing together experts from diverse fields, not just AI researchers.
Not just the computer science people.
Right, but also ethicists, designers, social scientists.
So it's not just about the what of spatial intelligence.
Right.
It's about the how and the why.
Exactly.
We need to ensure this technology is used for good in a way that benefits everyone.
Absolutely. Lee sees World Labs as more than just a company.
Oh, interesting.
It's a mission to unlock a fundamental aspect of intelligence itself and to use that knowledge for the betterment of humanity.
It's inspiring to hear about a company approaching AI with such a strong sense of purpose.
It really is. And, one thing that struck me
Yeah.
was Justin Johnson's comment about being drawn to this field because it's about
About understanding new data.
yes, new data,
Yeah.
not just the data that's already out there.
So instead of just analyzing existing images and videos, right?
Right.
We're talking about AI that can learn from the constant stream of 3D information being generated all around us. Like
Right.
every smartphone scan, every self-driving car.
Yeah.
That's all data that can teach us something about the world in 3D.
Exactly. And that's a key difference between spatial intelligence and a lot of other areas of AI.
Okay.
It's not limited to the digital world. It's intertwined with the physical world,
That makes sense.
constantly evolving as new data emerges.
It reminds me of what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The difference between reading about a forest and actually exploring it firsthand.
Who would like that?
Spatial intelligence is about getting AI out of the textbook and into the real world,
Yes.
where it can actually experience things directly.
And just as exploring a forest can lead to, those unexpected discoveries,
Yeah.
Johnson believes that spatial intelligence will take us to places we can't even imagine right now.
That's what's so exciting about all of this. It's not about making our current technology slightly better.
Right.
It's about opening up completely new frontiers.
And that's the beauty of what World Labs is doing.
Yeah.
They're not fixated on one specific application of spatial intelligence.
Right.
They're building these foundational models that could underpin countless innovations across a wide range of fields.
It's like they're creating the tools
Yes.
that will empower others to build the future.
Exactly.
And to do that effectively, they're assembling a team with incredibly diverse skills and expertise.
They are.
As Fei-Fei Li emphasized, this isn't just a challenge for computer scientists.
Right.
It requires a multidisciplinary approach.
Absolutely.
Bringing together those best minds in AI, ethics, design,
It's all connected.
and social science.
Yeah.
To ensure that spatial intelligence is developed responsibly.
For the benefit of all.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing that with such a powerful technology comes a profound responsibility.
To use it wisely.
Exactly.
Well said, and as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the key takeaway here is this. Spatial intelligence isn't just some far-off concept.
It's not science fiction.
It's an emerging field with the potential to fundamentally reshape our world.
Absolutely. And a field that's ripe with opportunity.
It is.
but it also demands careful consideration of its ethical implications.
We need to be asking not just what we can do with this technology, but how and why.
I completely agree. Those are the questions we need to be asking.
And those are conversations that I hope our listeners will continue to engage with, even beyond this deep dive.
I hope so, too.
It's a conversation that will shape the future of AI, and in many ways, the future of our world. So to our listeners out there, stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop asking questions about the incredible potential of spatial intelligence. Who knows what amazing things we'll discover together.